Hey guys, it's Chris Hunt, Co-National Director of Scouting with NLI Scouting. Today we're going to talk about when a student athlete should take his or her ACT or SAT. Student athletes are different than general students who can wait until the second half of their junior year to take the ACT or SAT. I know and understand that guidance counselors nationwide are advising students to take the SAT or SAT the second half of their junior year after taking a PSAT or a PACT. You got to remember, student athletes can't do this. They're different than the general student population, and the fact that they're going through a recruiting process in addition to going through the process on the academic end, especially ones being looked at by Division I schools at the mid-major level or at the Power 5 level. Coaches at these levels, number one, as we've talked about, recruit and identify prospects much earlier than at the D2, D3, NAIA, and JUCO levels. Prospects are being identified as early as 7th, 8th, and 9th grades. I'm not advising for a 7th or 8th grader to take the ACT or SAT. However, athletes that are being recruited by a D1 school really need to consider taking the SAT and or SAT probably beginning in their sophomore year. What's the reason for this? It's really simple. College coaches at this level need to have an idea of what the baseline test score is to determine how much money admissions will possibly give that prospect that they may offer, how much money they're going to give them on the academic side, which can then help them determine how much money they may need or may not have to give on the athletic side to comprise a package that's going to be very attractive to get that student athlete committed to their school. I want to preface what I'm about to say by saying in no way am I an expert in the educational field. What I'm about to say is from experience in the recruiting field, and hopefully these tips can guide you in when and what kind of test to take. As a student, you need to determine what your strengths and weaknesses are. What subjects are you strongest in? Are you strongest in math? Are you strongest in English and science? What have you? You need to determine what your strongest areas are. There's two tests that you can take, obviously, the SAT and the ACT. The SAT has subjects in math, reading, writing, and language, and an optional essay if you choose to do an essay. You have a 3-hour time limit without an essay, 3 hours and 50 minutes if you choose to do the essay. The ACT is comprised of a math section, a reading section, English section, and a science section with an optional essay if you choose so. Without the essay, you have 2 hours and 55 minutes to take the test. With an essay, you have 3 hours and 40 minutes. Before taking these tests, I would highly recommend possibly taking a prep course. You can do research on your own of what prep course to take. Just remember, you need to prepare in taking this test just like you prepare on and off the field or on and off the court. All right, again, academics is probably the most critical area of whether or not you're going to be offered as a student athlete by a particular school. Take it seriously. Devote study time and preparation for this test. And remember, you can take the ACT or SAT again, but as an athlete, especially one who's being recruited by a D1 school, try to take this test the beginning of your sophomore year. If not, maybe a little earlier if you believe that you are ready to give it a shot and see what happens. But you do need a baseline score, especially if you're being recruited as a D1 athlete. I'll give you a perfect example of one of our prospects. Blake Dinkman is a 2021 catcher in Florida. He already has an established SAT score. He knocked it out of the park with a 1380, and combined with his high GPA of 4.3, now schools have a great idea of what they can do if they're interested in pursuing him, because they already have an established test score and a great track record of a high GPA. So he's in awesome shape at this point. That's where you need to be, guys. Be prepared to take your test, and when you get the results back, determine what areas that you need to work on. Put that work in to increase your aptitude in those areas, and take the test a second time, and the results should be where you need them. If they're not, feel free to take the test a third time, but just be aware that usually after the second time, your test scores aren't going to improve that much. Hopefully this advice helped, guys. Continue to follow NLI Scouting on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as we provide information to help everyone out in this process. We'll see you out there soon.